Our nation's honor and the honor us of men have failed underage girls for some 40 years. We have insulted the memory of terrible things happening to these underage girls for nearly 40 years. What you're looking here are the child sex traffickers that surround our current president of the United States. This is Epstein. This is the Minnesota Epstein, Tony Lazzaro. When Epstein went to jail, this man started basically picking up where Epstein left off and started grabbing girls from Florida and flying them to Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota, where they were sexually trafficked. And he became a owner of a Republican PAC. This is his picture with Trump. This is the other picture with Trump. This man ran a super PAC and funded a lot of Republicans. In fact, he was Donald Trump's youth coordinator in 2020. Now, that would bring you to about 2020, maybe 2021, because he wasn't found guilty until 23. He's lost all of his Supreme Court cases, all of his cases to appeal the fact that he is a sex trafficker of underage girls in the form of Epstein. But that didn't end it, did it? You see, Trump then went on to a lovely guy by the name of Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is one for sex trafficking throughout Europe. He is a major Republican spokesperson and, right-wing commentator and all this stuff. But he's also a sex trafficker of underage girls. He's been indicted, unlike these two who were convicted. But Donald Trump interfered in Andrew Tate's indictment. I want to put this into perspective. This relationship started late 80s, then it went on to this relationship, and then to this one. So we're talking nearly 40 years. The problem with Trump, and the problem with what we have become as a country and our failing, and why I am forming the Bellflower Indivisible group. And we're going to be putting on these conferences for us to address this problem. The problem isn't Trump. The problem is about Trump himself and our nation's relationship to a man who went on the Howard Stern show, television shows all around the country on national television for a decade, sexualizing his own daughter, speaking about his sexual attraction to underage girls. He was allowed to own the Miss Teen USA pageant, where he inspected these underage girls as they changed. And he joked about it while maintaining this relationship, then going on to this relationship, all the time talking about underage girls, openly talking about his attraction. When the girls actually came out about what was happening, one by the name of Katie Johnson and the various other, the various other Jane Does, like the one Jane Doe who was in the Elaine Maxwell trial, where she was a Miss Teen USA girl that was captured by these two people for 10 years. We have a responsibility to do something about this as men and as a country. For us to realize that the same promises made by Epstein were the same promises made by are being made by Andrew Tate and by Tony Lazzaro to these girls. The same basic BS. And we have a responsibility to address that and to protect these girls, because clearly this is a failure of who we are as a country. Because this man is the President of the United States, endorsed and supported by every single Republican Party, by every single Republican, and protected even as he does this. Our shame is that we have not stood up. We need to educate ourselves about how they collected their girls, how event companies, how Hollywood and modeling and the promise of wealth was used to abuse these girls, to turn your daughter into a toy for these men. Because what you don't get if you're a father, their daughters were doing this because they were being promised to have the wealth to take care of you and the family, when that was never happening. And that never happened. In many ways, because the women, the girls, are not educated in what this relationship is. You see, Epstein and Tony Lazzaro and Andrew Tate tell the girls, you're going to make all this money and you're going to get connected to all these powerful people. The truth is, yeah, you're going to get connected. But the problem that girls don't understand in this relationship, when Trump had sex with all of these underage girls, or other wealthy, powerful people who had sex with the underage girls, those girls might have thought that they had something on them. No, they didn't. They didn't, because these powerful men immediately don't see you as an asset or a benefit. You instantaneously become a threat. You are, what they have committed is statutory rape by having sex with an underage girl. The person who has the power in the relationship isn't you. It's Epstein. It's Tony Lazzaro. It's Andrew Tate. Because if you step forward, both the Tony Lazzaros and the Jeffrey Epsteins and the rich, powerful guy are going to turn on you, and they're going to attack you both, because you are a threat to both of them. The person that actually has the power in the relationship is Epstein, because he has the book. And if he has the willingness to use that book to control this man, you have nothing. Because the girls did step forward. And when they stepped forward, both Epstein and the powerful guy sued those girls and called them sluts and attacked their sexuality and everything else, and the drug uses that they developed because of all of the mental anguish that they went through. That is what they will do to protect themselves, not you. Because what you are, if you step forward, is you are, he goes to jail and he goes to jail. But if he steps forward, he might just be able to put this person in jail and throw, or get this person to give him the deal he needs. And then you end up in the trash. This is what must be taught. On top of that, we need to understand that when you're an event coordinator, because there were people who were part of the events that these people put on where the sex took place. Tony Lazzaro had his events in Minneapolis, Minnesota, at a hotel that is currently even being sued. Epstein had events. Trump had events. Tony Lazzaro has events. Andrew Tate has events. To show off the girls, to show you off. But there are people who are part of those events who should become aware of what to do and develop relationships and methods within our society that doesn't allow those events to be created. Because the event coordinators who put on those events should not be event coordinators, and they should be able to step up to understand that when you are witnessing something that looks like what you are doing is participating in a gigantic party of rape of underage girls, of statutory rape, it is up to you as an event coordinator or a person associated with that to step up. It's your responsibility to do so, and we need to help develop that within our country. We need to take the Epstein files issue and turn it into something that causes change within our society as we look inside of ourselves and accept what Trump was saying for almost 20 years, that he had a sexual addiction to underage girls developed by his relationships with people who provided underage girls to sexually use here in this country. And again, for those people who talk about sex trafficking of girls from outside of the United States, be very clear. None of, or very few, of the victims of Epstein were girls from outside of the United States. These were American citizens. Tony Lazzaro's victims here in the United States. We need to accept truth and begin the discussions, and that is what the Epstein, Tony Lazzaro conferences are about, is coming clean with ourselves so that we can finally develop proper tools, laws, and customs within our society that would make it unacceptable to have these relationships and hold public office. It would be unacceptable for those who had the power to do something at these parties to do something. So I invite you to join this channel, because at this channel there will be a lot of things that the Bellflower Indivisible group will be putting on events like this one. Thank you. Like, share, and subscribe.